Time now for Frontline, a segment on the show where we celebrate frontline health workers. Today we want to look at the role played by pharmacists in this pandemic. Joining us via Zoom is Dr. Amwabeng Konto. He's a special clinical pharmacist, cardiovascular and thoracic unit at the Kofa Teaching Hospital. Special clinical pharmacist, COVID-19 management team member in the Ashanti region. He's also the WHO focal person for the production of alcohol-based hand sanitizer since 2013. Hi, sir. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, tell us, how is it going for people like you who happen to be in the front line? I mean, on this segment, essentially, we try to get personal and try to find out how life has changed since COVID-19 as far as your work is concerned. So let's start with that.
Okay, thank you so much once again. Good afternoon to our cherished viewers and then those who are also listening. COVID-19 has changed a lot of things in the country, and then it has affected the life of the pharmacists as well. Pharmacy initially used to be products-oriented alone, and so we were only concentrating on making sure patients get their medications. But now the practice of pharmacy over the past decade has shifted not only to product-centered services, but also to ensure that patient care is guaranteed. So we, as frontline pharmacists, as part of the management team, early every morning we meet to discuss how our patients are doing in terms of either they are coming up or they are going down, and if there are any issues to be addressed, and then it is discussed so that the necessary intervention is given. The work, it has affected our work, it has affected our going home and everything, our social life, such that our concentration is more towards making sure that those who are
Dr. Samuel Konto there, he's joining us via Zoom, but it looks like he just froze up on me. He was just talking to us about how life has changed since COVID-19. He's a specialist clinical pharmacist. Dr. Konto, you're there now? Right. Please go ahead with what you were saying. I lost you briefly, but I think you can continue now. Right. Go ahead.
It's on.
Yes,
on.
please.
It's on. Yeah. Good.
All right, so we'll try and call him back on that Zoom and try to establish a much smoother line with Dr. Konto. Dr. Konto, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I do. Please go ahead. I hear you loud and clear. So go ahead.
The pharmacists get their medication reactions. Those on admissions, we ensure that we daily monitor for any pharmacovigilance issues to ensure that they do not experience any untoward adverse effects. And in fact, if they do, we necessarily have antidotes to the side effects they are experiencing.
What I hear you say is that you try to make sure that the drugs or whatever it is that you need to administer to your patients are done well, and how they respond to that as well. It's not been a smooth line at all, unfortunately, and that breaks my heart a lot. Let's see if we can try again. So, Doc, you're talking about your role in these times of coronavirus and how you wake up every day, or meanwhile, how you start your day essentially by having a conversation about the patients that are available and the kind of medicines that ought to be dispensed to them and all. Can you take it from there? Because all along I've not been having a smooth connection with you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I'll have to go back again. Initially, I was talking about pharmacist's role was mainly product oriented, and so initially we were concentrating on the drugs only. But over the past decade, care is now towards patient care That is, we concentrate on the patient and make sure that whatever medicines they are on, there's optimization of therapy and there's no adverse drug reaction. Early morning, you have to wake up by 5 a.m. You are up, you are moving to the hospital to ensure that the stocks of medicines are up. And then if there's anything that needs to be done before the clinical ward round starts, you make sure it is in place. We also brief management of any shortfalls in the medication supplies we have, so that all the medication that is needed, possibly to be prescribed by our clinicians doing ward rounds, is in place. Apart from that, we also go into have counseling sessions with our patients to ensure that in case they have any issue that has not been addressed, then the pharmacist will get up, and if it is drug related, we liaise with our prescribers and the clinical team to intervene. Apart from that, we also have people on the research front who are making sure that if there's anything that is coming up that could help us facilitate and optimize therapy, that information is relayed to us and within a very short time, so that we can also look at it and then make sure patients receive discharge. And also, if there's any problem with any medication that is even part of the current protocol, a group of researchers also ensure that we get this information to ensure that patients across the world or across Ghana who are all going through any form of treatment, especially with COVID-19, get the best out of us.
Well, I have lots of, usually I love to have this conversation, but this connection isn't as smooth, although this one has been much better. I won't prolong it. I just have a quick question, if you may. Do you have, with all that you have listed, this means you coming in contact with people, different people, or perhaps even the same group of people with COVID-19 or so on a daily basis, even if it's weekly. Are there any specific stories that really that left an impression on you that you can share with us?
Okay, we had a patient who came to the treatment center, and then because of the patient's exposure, she felt that we could not do anything to help. And so, because he has seen better facilities that had better equipment, but as soon as she got there, she started weeping. So along the line, during counseling session, I asked her, is she okay? Is she doing well? Is there any problem that she's facing that we could help? And all the patient could say that, pharmacist, in fact, initially I thought I would die here, because looking at where I'm coming from and where I'm being brought, it doesn't match. But because of the professionals that has been assembled at this facility, I am getting better, and I'm happy that I'm okay. And lo and behold, this patient tested negative 2 times and then was discharged home. So apparently, we realized that we are doing the best with the little that we have. And so we need support, even though what we have is okay, but we need more support to be able to care for our patients and give them the support. The care should be the same throughout, from the first case to the final case that will come.
You're doing the best with the little that you have. So this patient was coming from which country? It's
a Ghanaian based in the UK.
In the UK?
Because of the lockdown, was also tested positive, and then because of the nature of his condition, had to be admitted at the ICU because it was a severe form of the condition.
Okay. So usually for those who get into the severe form of the condition, they need a ventilator, right? Or are there other symptoms that they exhibit? I mean, at that severe level?
Okay, basically, the severest form does not always apply. It doesn't mean that you have to be put on a ventilator. Okay. But we have ventilators on standby, such that if your oxygen saturations dip at looking at the reference range, we know that if we don't put on the ventilator to support, you can easily pass out. And so ventilator is on standby. But there are other things that also put you into the risk of the category of you being in a severe state. And so you need all hands on board, from the anesthesiologist to the intensivist to the cardiologist to the infectious disease specialist to the pharmacist, all on board, 24-hour. We don't blink an eye on you. So making sure that you are okay.
I'm really a bit hard pressed with time, but I'd love for us to have this conversation another time. You talk about doing the best with the little you have and that you needed help. Exactly, briefly, what sort of help do you require at this time?
Okay, at this time we need more of the PPEs. The PPEs, the coveralls, the N95s, we need more to be able to make sure that our stocks are within the, our stocks are okay, because we realize that the number of cases keep on going up, and we will not know when we will get more cases at the ICU, such that we may run out of PPEs, and so we need more help for us to be able to give our maximum best. In terms of drugs, if anybody has drugs that they think they can supply to the facility, we are all welcome. PPEs, gloves, everything, we are welcome to bring them so that we can have enough to take care of patients who possibly will be admitted.
We'll be having more of this conversation to bring this to the attention of the authorities and also those who can help. But Doc, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Dr. Samuel Amoabeng Konto is a specialist clinical pharmacist joining us from the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. This has been Frontline.